This is the final boarding call for all remaining passengers. Please now make your way to the gate. The podcast is about to begin.
Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk About Travel, and today we're going to delve into the wonderful Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined with Emma Sweeney, who is the Sales Development Manager for Scotland. Welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
I haven't actually seen you for ages,
I know.
so every time you come into the shop I've missed you.
I know.
So thanks for taking the time, because I know how busy you are.
No, of course.
But what a wonderful product that you work with,
Yeah.
and we're going to have so much fun talking about Royal Caribbean. But before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about Emma.
Okay.
And how you got into the travel industry, because people are always interested. How did you end up working for Royal Caribbean? So what's your journey?
So I was at university and I actually started with First Choice Holidays at the
That's
time.
a blast from the past.
Yeah, First Choice, had my pink jacket. And I absolutely fell in love with travel. I love being someone's, making someone's day when I booked their holiday. I loved that. And then I started working, obviously, a few different shops, and then I worked in Newton Mearns for a while. And my manager there absolutely loved cruise. So I was just under her wing, learning all about cruise, and I totally fell in love with cruise and what the concept of it was. So at the time, obviously, First Choice went to Thompson, then it went to TUI, and I was in a management role at the time, and I seen the job for Royal Caribbean come up. It was a maternity cover. This was back in 2018. So I drove to Durham and went for the interview, and it was amazing. And then I drove back up, and I hadn't even got to Gretna Green, and they offered me the job there and then.
Brilliant.
So it was amazing. So I'll never forget my first experience walking on to Royal. And it was actually Harmony of the Seas. And I walked on, I was at 2 at the time, and I said to my friend that I walked on, I was like, oh my goodness. And she's like, are you crying? And I was like, maybe. And because my eyes just...
quite emotional,
it is,
isn't
because
it?
the ship
The
was
ships are so
just
beautiful.
absolutely... It was Oasis class, so one of our biggest, totally blew my mind. I was like, I need to work for these people. And she's like, yeah. And then fast forward nearly 7 years now, and here I am.
Be careful for what you wish for.
I know.
It is such a fantastic product. I've been in travel a long, long time. You were probably still at school when I started working with Royal Caribbean. But back in the day, Royal Caribbean was really only a Caribbean supplier, which is obviously where the name came from. And it was all the 2-3 night cruises out the Bahamas, Majesty of the Seas. You'll probably not even remember that name. Some of the kind of names from the past. And people used to add it on to their Florida trips.
That's right.
And then they came to the UK market and started looking at the Med, and it's really just gone from strength to strength.
It really has. I mean, we still do the shorts now, but actually when you think about the shorts we do now, our new ship last year, Utopia of the Seas, just takes about under 7,000 guests. She's massive, and I was on her last year, and the short product is fabulous, especially for new to cruise and for customers that have maybe done Florida or Orlando to death and they're looking just for something a bit different. Get on a Royal Caribbean cruise at a Port Canaveral or Miami. There's loads there. But yeah, since we've came over, we've got ships now in Mediterranean. We've got 6 for next year. We've got 4 in Alaska. We've got 2 out in Asia. We've got them in Australia, where
worldwide, really.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Again, when I started in travel, cruising wasn't as popular as it is just now. But nobody would ever have expected it to have such a massive impact on the travel industry. It's still the biggest growing sector of the travel industry.
100%.
But nobody went to Alaska. And when they launched Alaska, and it wasn't Royal Caribbean that launched Alaska, but when Alaska was launched, nobody would want to go to Alaska. And now it's one of the biggest selling destinations.
Yeah, it really is.
Why would people want to go to the snow? Well, they do.
Exactly. And, for me, I would love to go to Alaska.
That's
it's
amazing.
definitely on my bucket list. And we've got 4 ships in Alaska, 2 of the bigger ones, 2 of the smaller ones to try and cater for all guests. But Alaska for us is, it is growing. But I think for us, the Caribbean, and of course the Med will always kind of be our bread and butter. But the Caribbean, I think we've got 24 ships in the Caribbean.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
So literally, there is a ship for everybody.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's crazy the growth that I've watched through Royal Caribbean over the last 20 odd years and working in the kind of with cruise.
Yeah. Well, we started in 1968 with one ship, the Song of Norway, and now we've got 30.
Where is the song on Norway now? Is she razor blade somewhere?
Oh yeah, she's not here anymore.
She's gone.
Yeah, she's not here. Unfortunately, that
all
been
these
nice.
amazing ships. It was a few weeks ago. One of the ships was up in Greenock.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
It's very rare we see a Royal Caribbean ship in Greenock, so it was great. And as it was sailing out of Greenock, somebody took this amazing picture of a rainbow. And for people that know me, rainbows are really special to me because of my mum, and that was my mum's favourite ship. So the chances of my mum's favourite cruise ship being in Greenock, and it was the same week it was the anniversary of her death, and I was like, that is a sign. I need to book another Royal Caribbean cruise.
You do, one day you do.
She absolutely loved Royal Caribbean and was a Diamond Club member in her own right. She didn't want to ever. She was so loyal to the brand. I couldn't get her to change to any other cruise company. She just loved everything about Royal Caribbean. I know.
Love that.
But I think that's the thing with Royal Caribbean, though, is it's something for everybody.
Yes.
You're a mum now, which is
I am.
Lovely. What age is your wee one now?
She's 3 now. She went on her first Royal Caribbean cruise when she was 9 months old. Brilliant. So she did. And it was, honestly, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, we took her into the wee creche, which was great. It was myself, my mum and my little girl that went. And, you know, when we walked into the buffet restaurant, all the staff would make such a big deal about her. Princess Nina. And she just kind of started like talking. She was still kind of weaning on to like, you know, more solid food. And it was just the staff would bring over stuff for her. They would chat to her. And I've actually got like quite a nice story. So we were on the ship and I would try and keep her in routine every night. So I'd take her back to the stateroom, put in her jammies, give her something to eat, and then she would be kind of all kind of chilled out, and me and mum could go for dinner, and she would just kind of sit in the buggy or sit up in the chair quite happy. You know, as long as she's fed and watered, my daughter was always quite happy to sit and, you know, goo goo gaga away. So when me and mum were getting ready at night, my mum would take Nina back to the stateroom, and we were literally just along from the music hall, one of our venues. So I'd say, I'll go get us a drink for getting ready. So I went up the first night, and the gentleman member at the crew took my C-Pass card, and he's like, hey Emma, you having a nice time? I'm like, yeah, it's brilliant, man, loving life. And I said, can I get a glass of Prosecco and a Chardonnay, please? And he's like, of course you can. So that was fine. We chatted away, and that was fine. I went away. Now, just to know, did not tell them I was staff. They did not know I worked for the brand. So the next night I went up. Now, bear in mind, there's just about 4,500-5,000 people on this ship. So I went up the second night, and he's there again. He's like, Emma. I was like, how do you remember my name? And he's like, Prosecco Chardonnay. And I was like, yes, please. So
what a way to be known.
I know. Well, I think in the travel industry, I might be known as that as well. So then he said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And I said, of course you will. Keep my daughter in routine. Good mum. And then the next night I went up, round about the same time, and they were both sitting waiting for me.
Oh, that's service.
And it was just absolutely sensational. So we had an amazing holiday.
So you would recommend cruising for families then?
100%. Yeah. We had a great time. And for me, I think, you know, I'm going on one of the ships in October, and I'm going to try my daughter in the kids club, but they'll give you a buzzer. So if she was to get upset, I can just go get her. But for me, what I love about cruising is I know she's so safe. She can't go anywhere. And the calibre of the training that the crew go through, like with the kids club and just our crew in general, it's unbelievable. And the service that you get. So when I went with me and my mum, and my daughter, her name's Nina, we went to the stateroom on the first day on Anthem, and we walked up, and he was standing outside the stateroom, and he went, are you Emma or Julie? And I was like, oh, I'm Emma. So he obviously read the names that were going to be in the stateroom, and he went, oh, this must be your sister, Julie. And so my mum was like, won over at that point. But it's just, for a family, the service makes it, the crew make the holiday. Obviously, as a brand, we include all of the entertainment and all the, you know, activities on board the ship. So for a family, if you want to go and do our zip line on the ship, or the rock climbing wall, if you want to do the surf simulator, the skydiving simulator, that's all included in the cost of the holiday. So if you think what that would be to do that outside, and even our musicals that we have on board. So for example, on Icon of the Seas, it's The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, amazing. Star
of the Seas, brand new to us this year, it's Back to the Future, the musical that's on board. That's all included in the cost of the holiday. And if you think now how much it is to go to the theatre, you know, we include all that. So the value from a Royal Caribbean holiday is absolutely unbelievable.
And the things that you've got on board, I mean, it's...
Oh, I know. Amazing.
I love watching like TikTok and all the You know, it's amazing. There's bumper cars, there's ice rinks.
Literally everything.
Rock climbing walls,
Yeah.
which looks easy, but I can tell you it's not.
No, it's
'cause I've done
definitely
it.
not. It's definitely not. And we also have a slide called the Ultimate Abyss on our Oasis class ships. So it goes from deck 16 to deck 6. Now, it is a dry slide, so if the lifts are a bit busy, that's the quickest way to get down to the boardwalk.
Talking from experience,
You're
obviously.
talking from experience, yes. That's the quickest way to get down to the boardwalk. And if you're a bit shaky when you get off, there's always a bar just to your left-hand side that you can get a drink.
Absolutely.
Because it is quite fast.
So yeah, there's so much to do.
So much to do.
You know, literally from birth to, you know, birth to grave.
Yeah.
There's something on a Royal Caribbean ship
And
for
that's
everybody.
the thing, we are a multi-generational holiday brand, and you know, for us, if you want to go on holiday and family, this doesn't have to be your immediate family. Family's whoever you consider family to be, and that's who we are as a brand. So if you want to go, you know, with your aunties, if you like, you know, and your friends and the grandparents are coming, there really is something for everybody. Because I appreciate I'm talking about the kids clubs and all the activities the kids can do, because obviously that's where I am in life right now. But we do have an adults only solarium. You know, there's aspects of Icon of the Seas. You've got your hideaway pool, you've got your suite class deck. So there is loads of different things on Royal Caribbean that really do cater for everybody going on holiday as a family and friends.
I think you mentioned multi-generational holidays. I mean, that is a massive market now.
Of course it is. Yeah.
You know, people
look at myself, that's what I do.
are back to retiring a bit earlier than they were in the last 10 years. And a lot of families want to do that as a retirement, to take, you know, all the grandchildren away on holiday.
Yeah.
I love a multi-generational booking.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I know,
It's so
great.
good.
And cruising is so perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because once you've paid for your cruise, everything's included, like you said. You're not having to think about having to pay all these extras. You
And
can
that's
really
the beauty
budget
of
before you
Royal,
go.
and that's what I love about it. That's the beauty of the brand. You know, when families are booking us, they don't have to worry about, oh my God, the kids are going to want to do so much stuff. Yeah, if they want to go ice skating, they can. If you want to do the bumper cars, they can. You know, it's not going to cost anything. And I think that's it takes a relief off parents, because obviously the cost of living now is just so expensive.
I know. Another question we get asked a lot though is, how safe is it for families? And we've never lost a child at sea yet, and
Nope.
I don't think that would ever happen.
Nope.
It's a really safe environment, especially for teenagers.
100%.
You know, obviously your wee one's a lot younger, but for families taking away teenagers where they're looking to get that little bit of freedom,
Yes.
but you're thinking, oh, I don't want them going down the town themselves, or you can let them wander about the ship. You can go to your bed, they can still be out.
Yep.
No harm can come to them. And under 21 in a Royal Caribbean ship, they can't access any alcohol. So
It depends where they're sailing from.
oh right, okay, so is Europe changed?
Europe is 18,
Right.
so it's wherever the home port is of the ship that season. So
Okay.
in Europe it is 18.
Oh, I thought it was still 21. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's 18. So, but as you said, for teens, you know, I'm sure if you tell a teenager they can go to a kids club, they're going to be like, Mum, no chance. But we actually have designated areas
Yeah.
for kids, so and for teens. So they have like it kind of looks so it's set up as a bar. Obviously, there's no alcohol in it, but you know, it's set up. There's pool tables, there's gaming facilities. There's so much for the teens. But I think for me, for the teens, they've got that space where they can go and mingle. But we've got some of the largest water parks at sea that, again, they don't have to pay for. They've got the surf simulator. They can do the skydiving. We've also got something called the North Star. So I kind of think of it as, you know, how like one of the pods from the London Eye. So it extends over 400 feet in the air.
Seen that in
Yep.
TikTok, yeah.
And you get 360-degree views of your destination, which is just insane. So if kids want to do that, or teens even, you know, they could do that as well. There's just so much. And we also have, of course, the unlimited ice cream and pizza,
Brilliant.
which obviously is a hit with the kids.
Yeah, and you do a drinks package for kids and teenagers
Yes,
as well,
we
a
do.
soda package, so you can pay for that up front, and they can have as many sodas as they want included.
Yeah, of course, because we actually give them a Royal Caribbean branded cup, and then there's Coca-Cola kind of machines dotted around the ship, yeah, so they can go up and drink to their heart's content, if all the, you know, just that they like.
And again, for families, that's really important to know exactly what they're spending and don't
Yeah.
have any hidden bills at the end, which
No.
is amazing. So Europe obviously is massive for the Scottish market.
Yes.
And you listen to your travel agents, and we've now got lots of direct flights. So
We
tell
do.
us about the Glasgow options and Edinburgh options.
So for Glasgow this summer, we brought back our Glasgow Charter, which I am delighted about. I feel as I've taken my role back as the Glasgow Charter girl. That's what I'm known with within the office. However, it's selling incredibly well. So it's running from May to October, and it's your Greek and Adriatic itineraries.
A lovely itinerary.
It's absolutely beautiful, the itineraries, Linda. So you've got Santorini, Mykonos, Split, Dubrovnik. The itineraries are gorgeous, and the price points for the charter. So, for example, the 13th of June is leading in at $11.60 per person, and that's including all your transfers. It's full board.
That's insane.
It's unbelievable, the prices for the Glasgow Charter at the moment. An Explorer of the Seas is a gorgeous ship. She's a nice size of ship for someone who's maybe not cruised before, because she's not small and she's not massive like our, Icon class. But the charter's selling extremely well within the Scottish trade, which is
and
just
it's a British
brilliant.
Airways charter direct from Glasgow to Bologna.
That's right.
Which is ideal for Ravenna, which is where the ship sails
only
from.
a 50-minute transfer over to the port, and we include 20 kilos of baggage allowance and 10 for the hand, which is great. We're also working with our partners at Glasgow Airport, and they've gave us 15% off long stay parking and valley parking.
Brilliant.
Which is great for guests to get that kind of exclusive discount for their parking for their cruise. That discount could, buy some nice speciality dining or spa treatment on the ships if they wanted to do that. But yeah, it's fabulous. And then, of course, the ship that everyone's talking about, excuse me, is Legend of the Seas. Our third Icon class ship is debuting in Barcelona next summer.
Brilliant.
Can't quite believe it. I'm beside myself. I'm so excited. So it's going to be absolutely incredible having an Icon class ship in our back garden. So we do have allocation on Glasgow flights with EasyJet direct out to Barcelona for the summer next year.
So if people want the really big ship experience, they can. Scotland.
They can. And what I would say is, from a trade perspective, that's where we are seeing demand for Royal Caribbean is our big ships. That's what customers are booking. Obviously, the Explorer of the Seas sells extremely well, so we've got that direct flight. The itineraries are beautiful and the ship is beautiful. But I think for what I'm seeing is like the multi-generational holidays, couples as well, they are looking to experience Icon class and Oasis class, which is amazing to see.
I think that's thanks to social media, though.
Of course it is.
Because of what we're seeing on TikTok and Instagram. Yep. It makes me want to do it.
Yeah,
it
same.
looks absolutely phenomenal. And you can hardly believe that that's actually all on a cruise ship.
I know.
You would never actually have to leave the ship.
No,
which is a shame because you're going to beautiful ports like Mykonos and Santorini, and but yeah, it's great. And we've also got out the UK, sailing out the UK as well.
Yep. So excuse me. Next summer we've got Liberty of the Seas coming over. So Liberty of the Seas, quite interesting. So two things. She's getting a royal amplification, so that means she's getting a bit of a refurb before she comes over. And I'm delighted Starbucks is going on board, so that'll be me. I'll be happy. And also for Liberty of the Seas, she's got Saturday Night Fever, the musical, on board.
Amazing.
Now, to my knowledge, it's not in the West End in London, and it's not touring at the moment. So it is a massive opportunity for the trade, for guests to get on board and experience Saturday Night Fever. And Legend of the Seas Liberty of the Seas at the moment, for our two-nighter on the 29th of May and the 12th of June, is leading in at £269 per person.
That's crazy, isn't it?
For a weekend break is sensational.
I know.
Sensational pricing at the
amazing.
moment. Yeah. We've also got a 5-nighter in June as well. That's the 7th of June. And that's leading in just over, I think it's £519 per person. So
less than £100 a night.
So see, for new to cruise, it's perfect opportunity to get on board and experience
It's
the
also
brand.
great for, hen parties or
100%. 100%.
I'm sure the people on board will not be delighted it's for hen parties.
I have seen a few on board before, and they all have a great time.
Or even just a group of friends wanting to go away and,
Exactly. Well, me and my friend, we've actually
girls'
booked
trip.
for Liberty for next year for 2 nights, child-free, 2
Brilliant.
nights, solarium, cocktails. Can't wait.
I know, all good. So literally there is something for everybody. Any new destinations that Royal Caribbean are looking at?
Yeah, so at Royal Caribbean, we just don't build amazing ships. We actually build our own destinations. So, well, not build our own destinations, you know what I mean, put them on the island. So you'll know we've got Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which is our private island in the Bahamas.
And again, thanks to TikTok, I so want to go there.
I experienced it for the first time last year, and I can safely say it does what it says in the tin.
It's a perfect day.
Was had by all. There is something for everybody. I absolutely was completely blown away. Because you know, sometimes if you see like in a marketing videos and you think, oh, does it actually look like that? It actually does. Even the vibe on the island, you know, with the dancers, the bright colours, it was just absolutely
perfect.
It was. It really was perfect. I had the best day ever.
And is that included in your cost of your holiday, or did you pay extra to go on?
So you don't pay extra to go on the island, no. We've got loads of facilities on the island that are included in the cost of the holiday. However, if you wanted to experience our big thrill water park, you have to pay to get into that. So that could be a half day pass in the morning, in the afternoon, or you can do a full day pass. Cocoa Beach Club, Hideaway Beach. And the reason for these small charges on some of the features on Perfect Day is at full capacity, Perfect Day takes 14,000 guests. And as you can imagine, we can't have 14,000 guests rocking up to Thrill Water Park. So it's just to kind of manage numbers and to make sure. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we've got a Perfect Day and she is just absolutely incredible. We've got Royal Beach Club. So we're starting to open beach clubs now. So we've got Royal Beach Club Paradise Island opening in the Bahamas. So that's due to open in December this year. And all guests have to do is buy a pass on the ship, and then they're all inclusive. Wi-Fi is included when they're there. In London, it looks sensational. You have to see it.
Beach clubs is where it's at, though. Everybody wants 100%. To do a beach club now on holiday, don't they?
100%. So if customers want that Royal Caribbean experience on the ships and also on land, we're delivering that now. So we're also going to have Royal Beach Club Cozumel. That'll be opening the following year. And then coming in 2027, we're opening our second destination, which is Perfect Day Mexico.
Oh, hot off the press.
Yeah, so we're going to have the world's longest lazy river. We're going to have the tallest slides in the Americas. We've got a slide that's a big sombrero hat. It just looks sensational.
That's nuts, isn't
It's so colourful, so bright. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait.
It's just, you think what is coming next? Because when I started working with Royal Caribbean, the ships were, leading edge. But then they started bringing on things like ice rinks and climbing walls and, water parks at sea. And you think, there's always something. Every new ship blows you away with what?
100%, because we don't just have every ship the same. So, last year we launched Icon of the Seas, brand new Icon class ship. Actually, it was the first brand new class of ship in 10 years for the brand. Then we've launched Star this year, that's an Icon class ship, Legend next year. So it's very exciting. And then we're not just developing the ships, we're developing on land as well and giving back to the communities where we're creating jobs and, sustainability and everything. So it is incredible.
And that is, people ask questions like that. They want to work with sustainable brands.
Yeah, of course. And
at the end of the day, a cruise ship, how sustainable can a cruise ship be?
Yeah.
But Royal Caribbean does it Save the Waves, the programme they call it.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And they've been doing that the whole time.
Yes,
I've
the
been
whole time.
working with Royal Caribbean, so they do their very best.
Yeah, we do, definitely. And I think, now it's just giving customers that option. We want to be different. We want to be, innovative and leading the industry. So with our Perfect Days and our beach clubs, so I don't know what else is to come. It's just, they surprise me at every moment when I get a call put in or an email and I'm like, who's coming up with this? It's just amazing.
But the great thing is your job's not boring, that's for sure.
It's not. And I feel very proud to work for the brand. And, when I'm out and about, visiting travel partners, and what's very, very nice for me is I don't ever get any,
negative
issues
stuff,
or negative about the brand. Like, because the service is so good, the facilities, or the food, I never get anything like that. So I am very lucky of who I work for, but I do feel very proud and privileged to work for Royal because, the brand is just absolutely sensational, and what we deliver for holidays and for families, like creating memories, is just incredible.
And I think if you get somebody, like my mum, for example, became a Diamond Club member of the brand, people are really loyal.
Oh, they are loyal to Royal.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because you do deliver something for everybody, and people will just want to come back time and time again. And what's nice about Royal Caribbean is that no matter what ship you're on, you will see similarities, so you feel at home.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter whether it's a Vision class ship or one of the big Icon of the Seas. There's going to be things that you're going to recognise.
Of course you will, yes.
Like the schooner bar.
My favourite. Yeah. My favourite.
We named that, my mum was called Schooner, so we named that the schooner bar.
Love that.
We still call it that because that was her favourite bar. So yeah, and the speciality dining on board is pretty sensational.
Yeah, spectacular. Yeah, it is.
Which you do pay a little bit extra for.
You do, yes,
but well worth it.
But well worth it. So we have the pre-cruise planner where customers can book dining packages and their shore excursions and their drinks packages before they travel. And we do loads of offers throughout the year. I think we're quite known for our Black Friday pre-cruise planner offers, but the dining on board is just incredible. You know, me and my mum, we were on Jewel of the Seas out in Dubai, and the waiter that we had was just immense, and I'll never forget, he'd never seen snow before, so he lived in Bali. I was from Bali. And he's like, do you want to swap? And I'm like, yes. But I know. But, you know, I was showing him pictures of, remember the beast from the east and how I was sitting in the middle of my road, you know, the snow was up to here, and he was like, that's amazing. And we were sitting in Chops.
We didn't think it was amazing.
No, never. But I remember I was in Chops Grill. That's one of the speciality restaurants. It's my favourite. That's a steakhouse. Incredible restaurant. And I remember being on board, and me and Mum were chatting, and I said, I don't know what side to get, like what sides to order. And he went, took the menus away. He went, I will bring one of everything. And I was like, okay. So we actually had to put like an extra side table onto
for
our table off the sides. Safe to say, I had to go to the gym after that cruise because I did put on quite a bit of weight, but it was definitely worth it.
I always say if you don't gain about 3 to 5 pounds on a week's cruise,
you've not done it properly. Definitely
Where have
not.
you been? Because it's all about the food. But interestingly, because people are now really thinking more about their healthy eating, and that is a big thing as well. Where
of course it is.
You absolutely, why you would want to on a cruise, but you absolutely can eat healthily.
Of course you can. There's so many options on board, and you know, we have our famous Windjammer restaurant, which is our buffet restaurant, which it literally has everything under the sun, and we do cater for like all dietary needs as well, which is incredible. But I just think that you can eat healthy on board. There's loads of different healthy options. You know, but for me, I think I'll always definitely go to Chops Grill.
I know, Chops Grill's amazing. So what is the kind of cover charge at $40, $35, $40?
It really does range, if I'm being totally honest, because sometimes when the pre-cruise planner sale comes on,
you get a deal on it.
And even sometimes what they'll do is they'll open Chops Grill for lunch some days. So you could be looking at, you know, $30, $35 per person. But what I would say is when you do pay that cover charge, you can basically order whatever you want when you get to the restaurant. It's not as if you're paying by the dish. So it's definitely worth it.
Oh, it's really good value for money. Because I always say to clients, you're not paying, the cover charge is not for the food, because you probably couldn't afford to eat the food you're going to eat.
Yeah.
You're paying for the incredible service and the choice of steaks and, as you say, a table full of sides.
A table full of sides.
It was just, sides could be things like lobster, and you know, it
was everything. Yeah, it was amazing.
It's such good value for money.
Yeah, it really was.
And something a bit different. So if you're celebrating an anniversary or a birthday, but you don't have to do any of that. The actual main dining room is absolutely stunning. So
it is amazing, and the service you will get in the main dining room is phenomenal. And I'll never forget, we were on Anthem, and you know, my daughter built up a bit of a rapport obviously with our waiters, and obviously with me and my mother. And when we went to Chops Grill one night, and we went to the main dining the second night, and the both waiters came up and went, and where were you last night? We missed you. And it was just so nice. Like hopefully from what I'm saying, like the service makes the holiday. The crew make the holiday. They're just absolutely...
The crew are beautiful. I mean, they're so lovely. I mean, you speak to them, because I always love to speak to the crew. Yeah. Where are you from? How long have you worked for the brand? What other brands have you worked for? And most of them have only ever worked for Royal Caribbean, and that to me speaks volumes.
Of course it does. And even the length of service as well is incredible that we've got.
So yeah. What a fabulous job you've got.
Oh, I know. I feel very, very lucky.
I know. And Emma will regularly come on and do Facebook Lives, little videos, and you're so excited. We've all got to watch it. Like, what's she going to tell us today? What new flight are we going to have, or what new ship are we getting coming to the Med?
And that's the thing, it is genuinely excitement, and that's the thing, you know, when we're launching new things on the ships, I'm kind of probably last to find out, because I get too excited and end up telling people. Not that I've ever done that, you know, I just get overexcited. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So they just don't tell me. Like, I'm last to find out. You'll probably find out before I do. Yeah.
No, I'm
like, I need to tell everybody.
We do like your little video updates. So if you had to pick one of your ships that you've been on, because obviously over the last number of years you've been in many of them, what would you say would be your personal favourite ship?
My personal favourite ship, oh God, so hard.
I know.
I would probably have to say Harmony of the Seas. So that was 10 years ago. Next year was when I was on Harmony. It was my first Oasis class ship, and I was totally blown away. That's when I was a travel agent at the time, and I totally fell in love with Royal and the brand and what they offered, because I think I'd never experienced anything like it before.
What size is Harmony? Is
She's
that
an Oasis class
is
ship.
that 5,500?
She's 5,000-6,000.
Yeah,
She's just shy of Icon class, the second biggest in the world. But it totally and utterly blew me away. And after that, I fell in love with the brand, and I've
Never looked
changed.
back.
It's never changed.
My first experience of an Oasis class ship was on Oasis of the Seas.
Oh, amazing.
I got to go out to Miami for the launch of it, and that was my first experience of the boardwalk.
Yes.
And it's exactly what it says, a boardwalk. You could be in Miami.
Yeah, you could.
Walking down the boardwalk, and there's ice cream stalls, there's donut stalls, there's fun fair.
Yep, you get the big carousel.
The carousel,
Yep,
yeah. Even the smells like a boardwalk.
'Cause you get Johnny Rockets will probably be on the boardwalk as well, and that's like our American diner, and that I'll never forget my first experience in Johnny Rockets. And
the milkshakes in there are pretty good.
oh, the milkshakes. But I said, can I get chips and cheese? And it was like chips, but it was like liquid cheese. And I was like, oh my goodness, man, you're going to roll me off this ship.
But just
it
the
was
fact
incredible.
that's on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And then on most of the ships you have a royal promenade.
Yes.
We always
That's
just
like the heart of the ship.
we always just call that the main street.
Yeah.
Because again, that's what it's like.
That really
you can
is.
imagine walking down any main street in any town with bars and restaurants and shops all dotted along. The atmosphere in there is just,
It's electric.
it's kind of like you don't realise you're on a cruise ship.
No.
Even the way they do the roof, you know, they change the colours and it just...
So the lights change and there's music playing and there's like, you know, kind of walkways at the staff and going at the top and they're all dancing, and we have the first night there'll be balloons coming down onto the promenade. So the promenade is the heart of the ship, especially on Freedom class. You know, we've got Independence from Southampton this year. She's full for the rest of the season, which is incredible. So Liberty's coming in next year. It's a sister ship. But the promenade on the islands, it's just the heart of
the ship.
The heart of the ship. The atmosphere is electric. You can't beat it.
And through the day, you'd actually have no idea what time of day it is.
No.
Which is actually quite nice on holiday.
It is.
Not to have to be looking at your watch and worrying.
I take mine off. I do not take my watch when I'm on holiday.
Yeah, you know, you can be sitting in one of the bars having a cocktail at 2 PM and
Yep.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh,
so.
it definitely is. Always.
Yeah. So the ships are big,
Yep.
but there's always somewhere on the ship you can go and be quiet.
Yeah.
And not feel that you're on a massive ship.
Linda, we also have smaller ships. So our ships actually range from just over 2,000 passengers, obviously right up to Icon class, just over 7,500. So,
Which is funny because 20 years ago, 2,000 was probably the biggest in the world.
would have been.
So Royal Caribbean's just kept pushing
Just leading the way.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now the biggest ship, Star of the Seas, you said?
Star of the Seas, yep.
And that takes about 7,000 passengers.
Yes, yep, you're right. So
nuts.
she's sailing out of Port Canaveral, delivering perfect holidays down to perfect day at Coco Cay. And then the next new ship is obviously Legend of the Seas, debut in July next year out of Barcelona.
And we're getting her in Europe, which is...
And we're getting her in Europe.
I know, amazing.
I'm beside myself. I cannot wait.
Would you say for customers... I know how I would answer this question, and I would always say early booking, but would you say early booking or late booking?
Early booking. If you want a Royal Caribbean holiday, you have to book early. For the rest of the European season, we're sold out.
I know, it's very frustrating.
I know. And actually, we sold out in a lot of dates really early on. See, especially for families. Like, if you even look at Legend just now, if you're looking for an interior ocean view or balcony for 4, you're going to struggle.
For next year
already. So we do sell out incredibly quickly. But I would definitely say, you know, book as far in advance as you possibly can. We'll be launching for Europe for 2027 very shortly, the kind of in Q4 of this year. And that'll be very exciting. I don't know what's coming for Europe 27. I'll be last to know, obviously. But again, I'd recommend please book early because, you know, we sell out really quickly.
When you're looking at 27 on the Glasgow Charter, which we spoke about for Explorer of the Seas, the pricing is just absolutely crazy. £1,100 for a week's cruise, direct flights from Glasgow, baggage included, 5 incredible ports and a 7-day sailing on a ship of that standard.
Yeah. all your food, all your activities.
£1,100. I mean, you would struggle to get Tenerife for that price.
Exactly.
Not that there's anything wrong with
No,
Tenerife.
of course not.
But
even if you think...
People think cruising's expensive and it's
Yeah,
not.
they do. And even if you think, you know, if you're wanting to go see Dubrovnik in Croatia, Santorini and Mykonos, if you were to do that on a land, you're going to be more than 1,100 quid.
Absolutely.
To do that.
And you would actually never get to experience everything you would get on a Royal Caribbean cruise on a land-based holiday.
Yeah.
And I used to do that with staff training, was, you know, look at a land-based holiday compared to a Royal Caribbean cruise and compare, you know, well, what's included.
Yeah.
And a cruise, I know I'm quite biased with cruise, but it just outweighs every other kind of holiday, in my opinion.
Me too, because I actually took my daughter on a land holiday last year and we had a lovely time. We did.
You spent a fortune.
One, I spent a fortune. Oh my God, I spent a fortune. But two, the service just wasn't Royal Caribbean service. And I actually said to my mum, am I being
Picky
here? And she went, you've just been spoiled by, in my opinion, the best. I mean, you can't walk along the corridor on a Royal Caribbean ship or go into a bar or go into a restaurant without the staff saying hello to you or asking how your day is. But when I was in my hotel where I was in my land holiday last year, you know, you could walk through the restaurant and pass 3 members of staff and be anonymous. And on Royal Caribbean, that's just not the case at all.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for
coming on and sharing all there is to know about Royal Caribbean. We could talk for hours.
We literally could. I could be here all day.
So many ships, so many destinations, and literally always just pushing the bar to what's next. So we look forward to hearing what's coming next.
Me too.
And we'll maybe get you back on in a few months' time. You can tell us all about it.
Anything.
So thanks, Emma. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another podcast of Let's Talk About Travel.